we have a special one on the docket for today. But before we start, quick plug. This series is one of the many upcoming projects supported by Patreon. If you have time after the video and want to see other upcoming projects, or you want to support the content, click on the link in the description and send you to my Patreon. We have rewards for all tiers starting as low as $1. And some of those projects range from something as low as a Patreon Q&A special, all the way up to a You Book It series, where you book us repackaging a character, a whole episode dedicated to you. There's a bunch of goodies on that Patreon list. Be sure to go check it out after the video if you want to support the content. Now let's get into it. When I first announced that I was going to be doing this series, to my surprise, this guy got a lot of recommendations. Andrade, Cien, Almas. And I can understand why. He's one of my favorites. And honestly, I think he's the most underrated character and wrestler in NXT. You know the deal. We're going to talk about his strengths, his weaknesses, and then we're going to go on ahead and get into the stats. Mic work, ring work, character, and ceiling. Sit back, it should be a good ride. Now before we get started, I want to introduce you to the character of Andrade Cien Almas. And from here on, we're going to call him Cien Almas because Andrade just takes too long. Now Cien Almas made his name in the CMLL. I'm not going to pretend as though I know a lot about the CMLL. What I can tell you is that it was like some Mexican wrestling thing. It's a big thing over there in Mexico. So don't kill me, please, if you're a fan of Mexican wrestling. He wrestled there from 2007 to 2015 with the name La Sombra, if you know about him. Now, he was a part of a few factions, and I cannot pronounce the name of them. I'm sorry, I am not Mexican. But if you are a fan of Naito from New Japan, he was a part of his faction. So he came in with a very storied name out there in CMLL, and I saw a few of his matches. I was really excited to see him come on and see him transition into NXT. But his transition into NXT wasn't of the best. He came in as the babyface wearing the suspenders, he took off his mask, that whole thing. I was okay with it, but I said he probably gotta lose the Chippendales act because that's how he came off. But later on, it kind of worked into his shtick as he became a heel. Cien Almas started out as a guy that could absolutely work wonders in the ring, and he's pretty much their Ty Dillinger now, in which he could put on a match with anybody you throw in the ring with him. The guy's an excellent worker. But the crowd didn't buy into him as a babyface, and they began to get really quiet for his matches, and that turned that guy heel. He started disrespecting the crowd, disrespecting the guys that he worked with in the ring. He just flat out did not care. Rumor has it that he actually wanted out of NXT because he wasn't happy with his position. Well, that's according to Alberto Del Rio. Take it with a grain of salt. Anyways, the change in character is what he needed, and now he is taking off. So I think we need to take off and get into the strengths and weaknesses of Andrade Cien Almas. Strengths. This one is easy for him. Very fluid and smooth ring work. Also, the way his character comes off now that he's transitioned, that's another one of his strengths. I would say if you put this guy in the ring with Dylan Miley, I mean, anybody on that NXT roster, you could put him in there with a woman probably, and he will give you, hell, on American standards and not Dave Meltzer standards, he'll probably give you a 4.5 star match with anybody. And you put him in there with somebody special, god damn it, in American standards, he getting you near a 5. The guy is that good. And I think he's one of the more underrated guys, as I said in the beginning here. If you look at Almas' matches, even his matches against the enhancement talent, you can see that this guy puts on good stuff. Whether he's making someone look good or making himself look great, the guy works his ass off. I'm happy that he's a part of the roster. His weaknesses, now, I don't know if this is a weakness. I don't speak Mexican. I don't speak any Espanol. I don't know it. But here in America, we need to hear him talk more. He looks like a guy that could cut a good promo in his native tongue, but again, I don't know what that sounds like. If you're familiar with his work in CMLL and you know what it is that he's saying, let me know in the comment section, or let us know in the comment section how his delivery is, how his conviction is, how fluid is he on the mic, all of that stuff. As of right now, I don't know. But what I did hear, there was one time where he cut a promo in Spanish when he was just turning heel. And again, it was in Spanish, but he was letting that mic have it, and he had a translator, a female translator nonetheless. And it sounded like he was talking that good. He was talking that rah-rah stuff. I like the guy. Now let's get into his stats. Mic work. This in WWE seems to be one of the more important things. I'm going to put to be determined on that one. As of right now, we just don't know. Can he cut one in English? We just don't know. I wish I could give you more on that one, but we just don't know. Ring work. Bro, I'm going 5 stars on this guy's ring work. He's that fluid. Very rarely does he make a mistake. He knows how to play to the crowd. He knows how to get that crowd in the palm of his hands and control the crowd. Whether he wants them to cheer or not, he knows how to cut them off as a heel. As a babyface, not so much. But the way his character is working, dang it. I don't think we can get there yet because we got to talk about character. But yeah, his ring work is supreme. I gotta go all the way 5 stars on this guy's ring work. As a babyface, he can wrestle that style perfectly. And as a heel, in his mannerisms, he's even better. 5 star in the ring work for Cien, Almas. Character. This one's going to surprise you. I'm going to go with 4 stars. Even though he's not 100% fleshed out, I love the guy's character. Like I said in the beginning, he started off as this Chippendales dancer guy that really didn't have much personality outside of, he was just a good looking guy that looked like he could dance. But now that we've gotten more acquainted with his character, he's a guy that's just in the best ring work or the best ring shape. He can go in there and he can put on fantastic matches with anyone. He just doesn't care to. Whether he wins or loses, he just doesn't care because he knows that he's going to get rewarded after the match with a plethora of women that he has. The guy's a ladies' man. Why should he care about wins and losses? To me, that is a very, very unique character and is one that we haven't exactly seen before. I'm very interested in where it goes, but I will say that he's playing the character up perfectly, and he has me extremely interested in where he's going. Why is it not a 5 star? Well, because we haven't gotten to the light at the end of the tunnel and his character is still being fleshed out. So at this moment, I'm gonna go 4. Can't go 5. Now let's go with the ceiling. Cien Almas' ceiling is rated a 4 stars. The thing that could handicap him the most is whether or not he can speak English. I mean, he doesn't look like a guy that would need a manager, but in this situation, I could see him having to use one. But if you capitalize on this guy's characteristics, he is someone that can get you some serious money. He's exactly what you wanted in Alberto Del Rio. Well, Del Rio knew how to speak English. But if you want a 2.0, here you have it. He can represent a guy that's completely spoiled, just doesn't care. He's in a family of royalty. You can go the whole gamut with this guy. Also, he knows how to get heat the right way. He knows, like I said, when it came to ring work, he knows how to work the crowd and have the crowd eating out the palm of his hands, whether he wants them to cheer what's going on in the ring or whether he wants them to boo what's going on in the ring, or if he wants them to shut the hell up. He can work all of that into his matches, and I believe that that creates a very big ceiling. But then again, main roster sucks. But in NXT, his ceiling is almost up there to the max. Gotta go 4 stars on his ceiling. Now let's go with the comparisons. If I would have to compare Andrade, Cien Almas to anybody, I gotta go Rick Rude. He has that sort of charisma about him. He has that sort of look, that feel. Everything about Cien Almas. If I said Rick Rude surprised you, let me know in the comments if that was a surprise of a comparison there. But he's that sort of guy where he just oozes charisma. And Rick Rude was a guy who didn't even have to talk. He just had the mannerisms of a guy that you would want to hate. But as an adult and you look back at it, you look at it and say, man, he really knew how to work his character and get me to hate him. That's Almas here. Anybody that knows of Rick Rude and watched Rick Rude growing up and you know of Cien Almas now, let me know if that comparison is legit. I think it's a pretty spot on one. And another thing about Rick Rude is he actually had a manager and he didn't need one because he could talk. So sticking a manager with Almas, it could work if it's the right manager that could play up his positives. Now, before I give you an overall star rating, I want to tell you why you should care about Cien Almas. Cien Almas is a character that's going to be fleshed out more and more as NXT goes along. Is he a guy that's going to hold the title? Honestly, I don't think he needs one. unless they come out with that mid-card title, then that thing is his. But he's a very, very interesting character, and I'm very interested to see where they go with the character, especially since he's got that whole ladies man gimmick going. And also Rosita from TNA, she's come in and smacked him in the face. Apparently they're working an angle where she was an ex-girlfriend of his or something. I'm very interested to see where that goes. He's also a kind of character that's probably going to turn babyface down the line. He's used right now as a guy to get other guys over, while at the same time looking extremely good himself. Like I said earlier, think Ty Dillinger. Ty Dillinger was a very good worker, but he was used as enhancement talent to get other guys over. The crowd finally took notice of how good Ty Dillinger was. It turned him babyface, and they got behind him. I can see the same sort of thing happening with Cien Almas, where the crowd notices how good he is in the ring, and they already have started to notice it, and they start to turn him because they get behind him. That is a successful babyface turn, but I don't want to see him lose the mannerisms. Overall, I'm going to give Andrade Cien Almas a 4-star rating. This guy is amazing, and once we see what he can do on the mic, or if he gets a manager, someone that can speak for him, as a matter of fact, to keep his heat, get him a translator. Ooh, and that's going to be a good one. But that's all I have for Andrade Cien Almas. Hey, hope you enjoyed the video. All of these videos for season 1 are already complete. Here's a couple things that you could do to support the content. 1, you can drop a like on the video. 2, you can leave a comment, and I have a comment that you can leave. I want to make sure I get you guys involved. And 3, last 20 seconds of this video is going to be a pop-up of our previous video, which was Nikki Cross. You can click on that to see that video. Even if you've already seen it, I'll watch it again. Now it's comment time. Who you want to leave? I'm gonna give you 3 choices. Our next NXT prospect video, we can go Asuka, we can go Bobby Roode, or we can go DIY. Pick carefully. I'll count up the comments below, and next week on Wednesday, this will come out every Wednesday, next Wednesday, the winner, whoever has the most comments supporting them, that's going to be the video that we show next week. Also, be sure to check out the Patreon. These are the people that have supported us this past week.